But without further ado, let's kick off our next session. So consumers sadly don't fall in love with your brand overnight. It takes work to understand what makes them tick. You've got to go to ground zero, and no one knows this better than our next speakers. So let's find out how you can make your brand a hit with consumers. I am thrilled to welcome to the stage Geoffrey Goldberg, Chief Creative Officer and co-founder of Movers and Shakers, and Jill Krakowski, Chief Marketing Officer at Cosnovo USA. Let's give it up.
Hello, good morning. It is warmer up here than we thought it was going to be, so we'll try to share some of the warmth with all of you. Good morning. Nice to see you all today in lovely cold Brooklyn. So today we're talking about fandom and building fandom. I am Geoffrey Goldberg. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Movers and Shakers. We are a social-first, culture-first creative agency. We work with brands to help them build fandom, build cool factor, and connect to culture. And very excited to be joined by Jill today.
Hello.
So let's get into it. So we thought we'd talk about first what is fandom, and then we have 3 principles to talk through from our work together on how to think about building fandom as a brand. And connecting, especially not just fandom, but within youth culture. And then hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So starting first with what is fandom, I think this is, a lot of people talk about building brand love and brand awareness, but I think fandom is kind of this like next level energy to it, you know, and I think there's a certain element that is that can be measured. Obviously, you can measure awareness, and you can measure likes and comments and shares and things like that. But you know, when we were talking about fandom, we were talking about there's also this community element of fandom that where you actually, I think you kind of feel like you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. Like I was thinking about Taylor Swift. Because who isn't always thinking about Taylor Swift? And there's people who like, yes, you like her music, but to be a fan is the next level. And you know, to be a Swiftie is the next level, right? So the idea of like fandom, you feel like you're part of this community. And then we see that a lot and reflected with brands and brand love. And I think the fandom that you've experienced with Essence is real. You know?
So I'm fortunate enough to work in the beauty industry where there are already a ton of passionate people, and our brand Essence was really a socially native brand, and so community building has been at the core of what we've done from the start. And when we think about fandom, we tend to measure the intensity based on a lot of the comments that we get on social media, whether it's something that we post, an influencer posts, or it's a campaign that we've done. So we worked with Movers and Shakers consistently over the past few years, and there are some comments up here that you can read, and you can really see the intensity of what our fans are saying. And I love these comments because, first, they're global. So you can see that logo down on the bottom right is DM. That's actually a retailer in Germany. There's a foreign language down there on the left that says, "So cool, well done." So for us, fandom doesn't just mean the United States. It means everywhere in the world, and our product is distributed in 90 countries. So everything we do in the US really resonates globally, and now we're building a global community, which is terrific. The second thing I love about this is we actually have Essence fan accounts, that people who specifically start a TikTok channel or an Instagram channel to talk about Essence products and talk about all of the things that we're doing and all the campaigns. So you can see up there on the top right, Essence Elegance is one of them. We love that. And the other thing is you get to see the comments about our products, which we love because we love feedback, but also really about the brand. I love Essence. Oh my God, Essence is such great product. We love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Essence is everywhere. And we're a smaller brand in the United States, so to really feel the intensity of that love as we start to grow is a nice thing. the other thing I'd say about fandom, and the ultimate fandom, is when something goes wrong on social media or there's something negative said about the brand, our fans come to our defense and they get into the comments and they really are there to support us and defend us. And so the brand almost can sit back and watch all of this happen, and it's very rare that we have to intervene to clear up any misconceptions about a product or something that happened with the brand. So that, to me, is like the ultimate fandom right there.
I love that. And also the fact that you have fan accounts. I'm like, that's next level, right? That's how you know you've made it, when you have the Essence fan account, or multiple ones. But the last few thoughts kind of on fandom, and then we'll talk through kind of like how do you think about like building that. A lot of the work we do at Movers and Shakers is about connecting brands to culture, and we really think about this is very related to fandom in the sense of we kind of think about culture in two ways. One is how can you be part of the cultural conversation that's happening? And two is how can you move culture? How can you create buzzworthy, headline-grabbing, and grab attention and kind of create a new conversation? And one way we think about this is actually what we've created called the cultural pyramid. And we think this is a great kind of model that we work with. We've worked with you guys on thinking about like where's Essence along the cultural pyramid, and we like to think of this as a party, right? So at the bottom of the pyramid, think about for many brands, they're there talking to themselves, right? They have their things that they need to say about their product or their service, and they're like, this is the most important thing. And for many, when you see that, it feels like you're not really talking to me. You're in the corner of the party, kind of saying what you want to say, and everyone's like, all right, don't talk with that person. The next level of that is you're aware of the party, and you're actually welcome at the party. Now people are like, okay, we're going to invite you to the party because I think you have something to contribute. You actually are aware of the atmosphere, of the culture there. Beyond that is now you're the cool kid at the party, right? Now you're the person or the brand that everyone actually wants to participate in the conversation with them. And all of that is really building up to how do you become the MC of the party, right? When you host the party, everyone wants to come. When you throw your concert, everyone wants to be there. When you have your brand pop up, people are clamoring to get in, right? So, it is certainly a journey for brands, and I think there's often times where we're intentionally at different parts of this pyramid too. We're not throwing the party every single day of the week, but we'll talk about some of the parties that we've thrown.
Maybe at Essence we throw a party every day.
You guys are maybe the exception there. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's talk about 3 principles for fandom. We broke this out into 3. One is about deeply understanding your community and what excites your community. The second we'll talk through is creating entertaining and relevant content. And then the third is just the consistency of that, having a constant drumbeat of connection. So let's dive into the first one about deeply understanding and exciting your community. And I'll hand this to you. I mean, how do you think about understanding what's important to your community?
So in addition to listening to the comments and reading through and doing some social listening, we talk to a lot of consumers. So Essence, I would say, goes after Gen Z. We're starting to think about Gen Alpha. So we really need to understand where you are in your lives, what you're doing. So we talk to a lot of people, but also we do a lot of research. There are a lot of research reports out there. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll pick out an insight that we see not only in research, but also that is playing out across social media. And last year we saw a lot about the no makeup look. And this is all about being natural, but quite honestly, people are wearing a lot of makeup to achieve this look. And so we really tried to take this insight. Here you could see no makeup is one of Gen Z's favorite beauty trends today, but the look is not as easy to achieve as it seems. And almost half of teenagers are wearing makeup every single day. So how do you take this insight and create a campaign around it that has really compelling and entertaining content? And that's where Movers and Shakers comes in and helps us to ideate how we can bring this to life so that the insight is at the core of the entertainment that we're providing to our consumers.
Yeah, and so building off of the insight, we thought, how do we not just tell that story, but actually celebrate that story? And so this was early last year, right, where we launched a campaign celebrating the effort that goes into beauty. And so Dallas helped us launch with this video, which I'll play, which is basically a rallying cry and a celebration of that effort. We'll try going again.
The work we put into beauty, no matter how easy or hard.
I'll go back to the beginning. We'll play it again. Here we go.
Girl, this look takes effort. It's time we recognize the dedication we put into doing our makeup. Why try to make it look easy? Trust me, it's not. The work we put into beauty, no matter how easy or hard, is worth sharing. Celebrate your craft and lust over your final looks. Effort is the essence of makeup.
Right, so this was a rallying cry for the community. So not only was this one video, and also Dallas was someone who Essence had worked with for years and had been celebrated by he was not only a big part of the community, they were also celebrated within the community and also celebrated Essence for so starting from a place of like listening to and working with the community. What this launched then was a series of content, including what became the first ever makeup award show called the Effortful Makeup Awards, celebrating the effort that it takes to make these amazing looks. And so here's a bit of a sample with our queen host, Erin.
Whose lips will dazzle, beam, and shine into the winner's circle? Up tonight for Extreme Shine Award. The winner is Josephine.
Thank you to Essence for believing in me, and always remember, if you can manifest it, it's already yours.
She's got it all. Congratulations.
So I love this because I think it was really built on insights from the community. It not only saying we hear you, but actually we're celebrating you for the thing that you're telling us that is really important to you, which was great. Yeah.
We also handed out a super fan award, so we were actually able to celebrate someone who wasn't an influencer and just a regular person in our community who loves the brand and loves the products, and so we were able to create content with her as well and hand out an award for being super fan.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea too. Like people are making content every day about their looks, what goes into their life, and now you're saying, hey, we actually want to give you an award for that thing that you're doing every day, which is awesome. So the results were amazing. A lot of engagement, headlines within the community as well about just the way to celebrate the community in this way. All right, so let's talk about principle number 2. We saw a little bit of it. Hopefully you thought some of those were entertaining, but I think this next one is all about, it's not just about listening to the community and understanding them, but it's also about creating entertaining content that's relevant. And so I'll start off by this one, which was also an extension of the campaign we just talked about. And I'll let this one speak for itself a little bit, and then we can talk to it. This is one of our favorite pieces of content that came out.
Welcome to Guess the Glam, the only game show where people have to guess how much effort goes into every look. Let's go. How long do you think it took them to do their makeup?
Hour and a half, maybe. 45 minutes.
40 minutes.
Nice, I was close. You're lying.
How much do you think everything on their face costs?
Makeup now is like crazy expensive. 60.
Are you good at math?
Yes, I'm an accountant. 400.
The answer is $41.
What? Okay, thank God I didn't say 100 because I was about to say 100.
Yeah.
$41 is probably like a foundation at that's crazy to me.
And how many products do you think are on their face?
12. 8.
9 products.
Ooh, I was so close. Wait a minute.
Every product on their face was from Essence Cosmetics.
Okay, Essence, I see you.
And I got a goodie bag for you right here.
No way!
Yes!
Lash and brow, I've been needing another one, so thank you.
So generous.
Great, right? This was actually one of my favorite campaigns, and this is where I get to talk about the brand for 2 seconds. For those of you who don't know Essence, we are all about making beauty fun, but we offer extreme value to the consumer. So most of our products are around $5, but what you're getting is exceptional quality. So there's really no trade-off, and it allows you to test and play. You could try different looks. You saw there were 9 products for $41, really quality makeup. And what I love about this is it's super entertaining, but it was also really bespoke. It was made for Snapchat specifically. So you've probably heard a lot of, create content for the platform where your consumers are viewing it, or where creators feel comfortable, and that's really what we were able to execute on. It was highly entertaining. It really did not stretch our brand equity very far, so it feels really authentic to who we are. And we just were able to involve members of the community as well. This is Washington Square Park here in New York, and we just pulled people off of the street basically to have them participate in the game show. So it was a lot of fun. It felt really authentic to the brand, and really super relevant to everything that we inherently feel at Essence.
I love the point too about making entertaining content that's like specific to the platform, because it's not just entertaining more broadly, which clearly it is very entertaining, but also extremely specific in format to the space where it's showing up. So love that. Another piece about, you talked about just being a brand that's very familiar with entertaining music is another way that we've done that together, and that we think a lot about music being really like kind of the cultural heartbeat of a generation oftentimes, and music can be a wonderful way to entertain, but also get a message across, to celebrate the community. And you can, if you can get your message across in a celebratory way that feels really fun and engaging, it's like win-win-win. So we launched another campaign together with you guys a year ago, and I'll let this one speak for itself, but maybe the preface is there's some very fun names for some of the products at Essence, and we thought, how can we bring those to life in a really fresh way?
Oh my God, Becky, look at her brows. They're so big.
I like big brows, and I cannot lie. Them other chicks can't deny. When a girl walks into your itty bitty place, some big brows on her face, you get When I pull out a rush, challenge the browser stuff. So, lady, tell us, your girlfriend's got the brush. Shake it, slay it, rock that Essence look. Baby got pretty face with the brows on beauty. Pretty face with the brows on beauty.
I love this one. It's so much fun. And so this was obviously a well-known song that we kind of took over and did a new remix and remake of, but it's such a fun way to kind of give that to the community to play with too. So not only was this entertaining content, but it gave the community an opportunity to play with this and make content of their own, which they did. Should we watch the I Like to Mauve It? All right, here we go. I like to mauve it, mauve it. I like to mauve it, mauve it. I like to mauve it, mauve it. Yeah, like to mauve it.
All girls overboard. When you blend your shadow, blend it nice and sweet and pretty. Your eyes look fantastic. Dip brush, she on the eyelids. Your eyes look fantastic. Dip brush, she on the eyelids. Dip brush blend. Dip brush blend.
I can never hear that song the same way again. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, no, they're saying it wrong. It's Mauve It, So clearly stuck in your head. And like I mentioned, it's not just about a one-way communication here. So creating something that has lots of engagement and views, but also that people use and to tell their own entertaining stories is a really fun thing about this. All right, our last principle is about creating a constant drumbeat of connection, and I think this is really important for Fandom, because this is not a you make one big moment and then all of a sudden you have fans. Like, Fandom is built over time, and that's built on all different levels, from daily community engagement and content all the way up to like some of these big campaigns we just showed you. So you want to talk a little bit about like how you guys approach that?
So there's a lot of content created by us specifically for our channels, and what we try to do is capitalize on the trends that are happening, specifically on TikTok, I'd say. So if it's cherry cola makeup, or we'll put out a video on that, or if it's kids going into store and shopping, we'll create a video about that, or a certain meme or a saying. And so we do try to get in on the trends in a very Essence way, and so we are posting consistently across all of our channels, specific to those channels. So here's an example of one of the TikToks that the team created that was not campaign led; it was really brand led. So you may recognize that mascara. It's one of our best sellers, Lash Princess. So we do create a lot of content with that product. But here you can see, in a very heroic way, we're displaying the product and, this whole, initials. We were able to come up with a very short little snippet of content that I think was really engaging for the community.
I love that. And it's the little pieces of content that are the constant drip and the constant way of like saying we hear you and we get you. And then I think there's also just the bigger pieces of content, the bigger pulses that happen throughout the year. And so, there are going to be ups and downs for any brand as they think about making big bets or placing big bets or hosting the party versus being welcome at other parties. But it's the consistency and it's the commitment to that consistency, which I think is over time builds deep fandom and builds people a sense of community around a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we aren't a big brand, and our budgets are not as big as other brands, but it's still really important to figure out how to be on every channel in some capacity, because you want your community, you want your fans to feel you everywhere. And so, whether it's trying something on Snapchat, whether it's a big campaign-led promotion on TikTok, whether it's sending product to influencers who are speaking on your behalf, and so you have influencer-led content, or just creating these little videos that we can put on Instagram and TikTok, it's just important to kind of have that breadth. We even are on Twitch. In a small capacity. We run a couple of cosplay contests every single year with one of our influencers, but we just really want our fans and our community to feel us kind of wherever they are. And so we like to follow them around. And of course, when we have these big pulses and these big campaign-led programs, there's definitely a big push behind those as well.
I love what you're talking about, how it's like the fandom is not just built in like a single space. It's when you're meeting consumers wherever they're at, and like everywhere, not just wherever, but everywhere they are. And that's how you really think about building brand love and fandom, because you're showing up everywhere they're showing up, on all the platforms and all the spaces, and also like probably in unexpected spaces that people turn around like, oh, Essence is here. Oh, great. I love that. Love that for us. All right, well, those are our 3 principles. We've got, I think, probably a few minutes that we could take some questions, if we want. I'm getting a thumbs up on questions, if people have any.
What are the best questions to ask your audience to better understand them?
Well, that's a tough one. I think we don't do a lot of specific questioning of the community. What we do is mostly read between the lines based on the comments that we're getting. So it's more of a social listening aspect. But there are oftentimes, and we don't do it a lot on social, we do it through our CRM system, so anyone who's signed up for our loyalty program on our website. But we do ask some product-specific questions, like what would you like us to launch? What are you seeing? What would you be interested in? So we do some probing like that. We do not do a lot of formal focus groups in our company, but we do belong to some panels where we're able to cull some data and ask specific questions. But it's usually very, very tight. It's less about content creation and more about like the beauty space specific to kind of product innovation.
Yeah, I would build on that, saying it. In some ways, it's less about the questions you ask, and it's more about like how you listen. And I'm a big believer in your communities are telling you what stories they want to hear. They're telling you what's important to them. They're telling you through the tweets that they make or the X's. They're telling you through the TikToks, through the comment section, and it's more actually about the listening than it is about asking the specific question, is what we found. What other questions about fandom or building brand love or creating entertaining content?
Hello. You were talking about brands showing up in spaces where your audiences are, and what are some other brands or people out there that are cultivating their own brand that you admire, kind of want to, that you're watching, seeing what they're doing, and trying to emulate some of the things that they're doing? What other people out there are exciting you guys?
So the beauty category, for those of you who know, there are a lot of brands out there. It's highly competitive, and the retail space has shifted so much that it's no longer you're a drugstore brand. Consumers are shopping high and low, and so we're looking kind of across the spectrum. For those of you who watched the Super Bowl this year, there were 2 beauty brands that actually had Super Bowl ads. And I obviously was extremely interested in those, but they really were not just a single Super Bowl commercial. They were able to take that ad, and it was not only in social media, but they brought it to real life too with activation. So specifically, NYX activated they have a new plumping lip oil, and they were able to actually activate in real life. They had an event where consumers could attend. And e.l.f. as well, they were just, their campaign had, 3 different legs to it. It was all over social media. It was really hard to miss. And so for me, that's true aspiration. I was seeing it everywhere in real life, on my phone, on my television, and that kind of omnipresence, I think, is worth talking about. And so yes, there was a competition, but I think that they did an excellent job.
I talked about Taylor earlier today, but all kidding aside, I do think that there's a lot that brands can learn from looking at artists, looking at especially music artists and how they build their brands, and also just creators and influencers. Creators and influencers, they are the people who they're building their brand themselves in the spaces where we're also showing up as a brand, and I think they're cutting their teeth and trying the new methods and things that we can also learn from. So oftentimes I see our team finding a lot of inspiration from like the new methods or storytelling or tactics that creators are taking, that artists are taking, in addition to other brands and the big swings that they're making as well. I think I'm looking at our clock, and I think that's the end of our time. Before we sign off, a shameless plug, but excited to announce that this week, actually, the question from our second person was actually our host for this new podcast that we're launching at Movers and Shakers called Gen Z on Gen Z. It is a podcast. Some of you may have already been interviewed out there. It is available now on Spotify and anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm getting a nod, yes, and also movershakers.co. But we understand, obviously, as everyone does here, that Gen Z and youth culture is constantly changing and evolving, and something that many of us are trying to understand. And so that's what this podcast is all about. It is helping marketers understand Gen Z culture, and it's hosted by 2 of our Gen Z strategists at Movers and Shakers. So we have to have you on as a guest, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So listen to the first 2 episodes, one about money, and the other is about social shopping. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah.